greatest music ever created and how it ruined our lives. With special guests, Testament's Chuck Billy, and recently back in Megadeth, Dave Ellefeson. And straight from EB's personal video stash, Lars attempts to sing a Metallica song.
Hey, hi, I'm Eric Braverman. My friends call me EB. You should probably call me Seshla, the Windwalker. Welcome to another series of the greatest music ever created and how it ruined our lives. Today I'm at Megadeth, again, trying to go and interview Dave Mustaine. I made the mistake of just walking through sound check, so he had the security guards and other people throw me out. So I'm going to try to get back in. If I can't get his crazy butt to sit down, I'm going to get Chuck Billy from Testament or Dave Ellefeson from Megadeth, newly reunited into Megadeth. And I think I'll grab something from my old vault, Lars singing a Metallica song. Get your Pepto-Bismol ready. Let's go.
The greatest music ever created and how it ruined our lives.
I got an interview in here,
Oh, no,
Dave
you
Mustaine.
don't. Not today.
No, it's just set up by Roadrunner Records, supposed to be in there at 4 o'clock.
Not today. Check it out. It's like this. You already screwed up sound check once. All right. Mustaine said you come back here again. Hey, what are those Wu-Tang Jordans you're wearing?
Hey, yeah, they are.
I got plenty more where those came from too. Go back and tell your other gorilla friends I'm here waiting for them. Hey, Cornelius, Zero called. They don't want you back here for the luncheon.
Chuck Billy.
It seems like I can always count on Testament to be with some kind of awesome other band. Like, you guys go out and do tours on your own, but when you're with another band, it's like an awesome band. There's no bull crap. Like, almost like the perennial best opening band these bands can get. You're with Judas Priest, you're with Iron Maiden, you're with Slayer, you're Megadeth doing this thing, they have you come out. Well, how is that always fall into place?
Well, it hasn't in a long time until we got a new record, The Formation, because we weren't really touring as hard since like right before my illness, and then after we weren't really hitting the road as hard as we should, and we didn't have a record ready because of obviously the record label at the time we weren't happy with and didn't want to give them a record yet. So as time,
but you toured with Judas Priest like 20 years ago.
Yeah, I know, but back then, that's 20 years ago.
Yeah, but but when they go out and do a tour last year, they call you up.
Yeah, but we had a new record out. That's how I was getting to the point, was that
I don't think it's just
if it was before that, we might not have been in their ears or seen in the magazines because we didn't have a record. We got a lot of hype and a lot of press out of that record.
I didn't even think any business thing. I thought guaranteed power. Have Chuck Billy and Paul Bostoff slamming stuff behind you.
We're pretty low key. We don't get in anybody's way. We come do our deal. You tell us how long to play. We come in, we come out, we do our thing. And I think maybe those veteran bands appreciate coming in and just getting in, getting out, no problems. In that sense, it works because I think we went with Priest, a couple places, went to Europe and then went to Mexico and got invited on and on and on just because of the fact that, hey, these guys are easy. Let's bring them on. They're a great band, great opener, and we enjoy working with them.
Like, how do you feel emotionally about all these different fans? It seems like any fan that has some ethnic background to them identifies to you more. It doesn't mean because you're not South American, no. you're not Spanish. What is your ethnic background?
Native American and Mexican.
Okay, so you are Native American and Mexican. You gotta think heavy metal's pretty Caucasian.
Oh yeah. Totally.
So
yeah.
To have someone that heads up a band like yours, but do you ever think about that? Is that have an impact on you or your feelings?
Not really. I haven't really let that affect me. I am who I am, and that's I'll always be, I guess.
Well, you played in Mexico recently, didn't you?
On the Priest thing.
But I thought you had something going on there recently, but I just wondered if you had a more emotional connection or a cultural.
Well, it's definitely, like, for example, an American tour. We get to New Mexico, the natives come out, and it's crazy crowd, and it's off the hook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
favorite part of doing the Testament thing?
Well, right now it's definitely performing live and having the fact that we have close to the original members. I would consider Paul being an original member because he was the first one after Louis left and has been in and out of the band a few times. So I would say that is the thing, us being able to do something that we started, so many years ago, and especially on this tour here, we're playing the Legacy, something that we never just planned to do that,
Now, how did you pick that album? Of all the
well,
albums,
they wanted Practice We Preach, and they wanted something 20 years old. And we're like, well, 20 years wasn't practice.
Who's they?
Well, because Megadeth's doing their
yeah.
Rest in Peace,
right?
So they wanted something,
Oh, really? So they actually suggested to you guys do one of your albums?
Yeah, and they wanted Exodus to do Bonded, but Bonded's longer than their time slot, so they decided not to do it. But for us, we're like, yeah, let's do it. And for me, it's like, hey, man, maybe some of these new generation fans that came, maybe don't know Testament, or just happened to come to the show, kind of give them a sense of what we're about when we started, because this is the first 10 songs we toured with ever.
What's the best smoking town on tour?
The best smoking town?
I know you don't smoke as much as you did, but I think you know a lot about it. What would be a town that you
San Francisco is the most.
drummers.
San Francisco is the most smoking town.
So your hometown.
Hometown.
Are you just saying that because it's your
the
hometown?
best. It's the best.
If you
Always
were from
consistent.
Dallas, but if you were from Dallas, would you be saying it's Dallas?
No, nope. Because Dallas had bunkweed.
Is there something that you'd want to say to the heavy metal fans of the world that you haven't been asked in an interview, or you haven't had the chance to say, or just maybe a philosophy you don't think's right? Like, is there something you'd like to say out there that you haven't had a venue to say?
Buy more records. Buy more of our records.
Buy more of our records. You want that just
there
straight
you go.
up.
That's it.
We
straight
can't
up.
be more honest than that.
Come to the concerts. Buy more records.
Okay, have fun.
There you go.
We have to go because I think Dave Mustaine's probably going to have me thrown off the property. He saw me laughing a little earlier, and that could be a total infraction.
Uh-oh.
We're going to try to find him. All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, Carl, I don't see him over here anywhere. If Mustaine gets on my ass one more time, I think I'm out of here. But I'm going to go check that North 40 lot, make sure he's not hanging out by the dressing room.
Dave Ellefeson.
We're going up the stairs of rock and roll heaven to talk to Dave Ellefeson because I think I've already scared Dave Mustaine, so he's hiding from me now. But Ellefeson doesn't scare easily. So we're going to talk to him about the Rust in Peace tour and what it all means to him to be back in Megadeth. And then we'll get back to the drinking and smoking. Here with Dave Ellefeson once again, longtime friend of the greatest music ever created and how it ruined our lives. David, I told you you'd be back in Megadeth at the Heaven and Hell show this last summer. You looked at the friend that was with you and said to him and pointed at me, "This guy's crazy."
You are crazy.
But
and I am back in Megadeth.
Are you still surprised?
I guess my thought is, I hope this would always happen. I guess, you've been hanging around me and Dave for many, many years, so we've been in a band for a lot of years. You've been on a tour bus with us. You toured with us in Europe when we did the Peace Cells tour with Megadeth and Flotsam and Jetsam. Was with us, right? Many, 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 many years ago. Our first European tour.
I did Euthanasia too. Got a whole summer Euthanasia tour.
You did?
With Korn and
I don't remember.
There was
that.
a drifting of philosophies.
Yeah.
Who do you think benefits most from you rejoining Megadeth? Is it Dave? Is it you? Is it us, the fans?
We all do. And I think that's the deal, is that for someone to win, meaning someone has to lose, then that's no good. When everyone wins, that's the way it's supposed to be. In order for everything to line up the way that it did, was something that neither Dave could plan or I could plan. And I think that's the beauty of it, And I think this 20th anniversary Rust in Peace tour is something that just came at a moment in time. I mean, as you know, this is going to be a big year with the big 4 shows in Europe. Slayer, Megadeth, co-headlining a big arena tour this year. And it's ironic that when that got pushed back because of Tom Araya's surgery, my first thought was, I should call Dave. Because it just hit me like, man, this might be the parting of the tides right here. You know what I mean?
Okay, great.
Pass. Obviously, I got
And
this
you got
far.
back here
I
again.
got
Okay,
this
that's
far.
good. Come on, buddy.
The interesting thing to me with all you guys' history, the good, the bad, you guys were practically kids. I mean, how old were you when you started to record Killing Is My Business? 22?
Not even. I mean, I was
21?
18 when I met Dave.
Okay,
he was
so you're not even-
21.
okay.
And that was in
So-
83. We got a record deal. We started recording Killing like a year and a half later. So I
Okay.
guess I was maybe 20.
Okay, so through all that, you're 20 years old when you met. You guys have done every drug together. You've gone through religions practically.
I still
together.
wasn't old enough
You
to
got-
drink, by the way.
Not old enough to drink, all that stuff. When you're on stage playing and looking over at him, what's really going through your mind? Is it like a whoa, or is it, what the hell, I'm up here with this jerk again, or I'm so glad that...
No, it
You know,
definitely
feelings
isn't
like,
that.
what- but
It
what
isn't
do you
that.
feel when you look over
Here's the
that?
thing.
It's gotta be
Dave
feeling.
is a very intense guy. And when I first met him, because keep in mind, this is 83, I've just moved from small town, middle America, out to Hollywood. And, the predecessors for me were bands like Van Halen and groups like that, Kiss even before that. So by the time I get to LA, there's a whole new movement happening, which is mostly Motley Crue, Rat, Ozzy, of course, because he'd picked a lot of LA-based musicians to be in his band. So that whole thing is happening, and then I meet Dave about, a week after I lived there, and Dave is cut from a whole different cloth. And there's something very different about him. I mean, first of all, I could tell right away he's the real deal. Because, you go to the Troubadour, you go to various places around Hollywood, you see a lot of people, they all look like Vince Neil, or they look like Nikki Sixx or Blackie Lawless, right? And they're people who want to be. Dave is a guy who really is, and there's a big difference with that. So when I sit and he starts playing for me the first couple songs that he had, which was a song called Megadeth, which ironically is Set the World Afire from So Far So Good So What. And the second song he played for me was what became Devil's Island. And so as he's playing these songs, I'm looking at him, hair hanging in his face, the way he kind of has a very kind of raw, heavy grip on the guitar.
Holds the guitar up.
Yeah, and I'm watching him play, and I'm like going, wow, there's like something really cool. This is heavy. This is cool, And it wasn't, sort of the Van Halen tapping, and Eddie, of course, being the inventor of that, and then the gazillion other people that copied that. And here's Dave, who's really got a unique, very heavy but intricate way he plays, right? So there's this connection I have with him. So, long story short, when I stand next to him on stage and I look over at him, and I noticed this when I was in San Diego at my first rehearsal back with him, I looked at him and I went, it's 1983 all over again. And I just looked at him and he's, same thing, standing there playing, hair hanging in his face. We're chugging through Symphony and Wake Up Dead and got some classics. And it's as if I never left. So it's not like there's this big gap between us, because we get on stage and my hair is kind of about the same length it was when we did Rust in Peace, right? So it's like we kind of almost look, it feels, and it sounds exactly the way it was back when we were doing this several years ago.
Oh, this is Mr. Wu-Tang Tennis Shoes.
Are you addicted to music, Dave Ellefeson?
Am I addicted to it?
You write books about it. You're in several. You've done all kinds of projects at all different levels.
Sure. Yeah.
You've guested on lots of people's stuff. You don't discourage people to be in the music business,
absolutely
especially with
not.
all the. And you've seen a lot of damage.
Sure,
Human damage. So,
yeah.
do you think you're addicted to it? Could you stop it?
No, I couldn't stop it. Because you know what? We're all put on the planet for various things, and this just seems to be one of the reasons that I'm here. It's not the only reason, but it's certainly one of them. And I think that all the other things that I've done are just an expression of that. And it was cool to do those because while I was in Megadeth before, I never did any solo projects and other, side projects. And I still technically have not done a solo project, you know what I mean? But I've done a lot of other things that I've been involved in. So people got to see another side of me, and now coming back to Megadeth, I think it makes the return that much sweeter. And certainly, as the fans see it, which I have to respect that they view it through kind of the eyes of the world, seeing me back on the Megadeth stage with Dave, that just seems to be something that's meant to be. It seems to be part of my journey.
I love it. It's what me and the fans, that's what we want to see.
Cool.
Right.
Heavy metal fucking rules, man! Yeah!
We've done it 3 times on this tour, so what better place to end it than right? Shut up and get on with it. This is really silly. Check this out. What the fuck was that?
Oh, hey, good times, right? and what have we learned this episode? Well, we've learned that Chuck Billy's a cool guy still smoking. And we know that Dave Ellefeson's a cool guy, God bless him. And we know that Dave Mustaine's is still that kooky, tortured artist dude. And when security guards are bigger than you, you shouldn't probably push them around so much. Well, I gotta be on my way to the Vatican to interview some guy named the Pope or something.
We And thank you for watching our show. We'd like to thank our special guests from Megadeth and Testament. And we'd like to thank our sponsors, Smoky Amps, Zinky Electronics, and Musicians Discount. And now it's time for something more entertaining. And now it's time for rehab, so put that needle down, give me a call, and I'll come pick you up.